You're sitting in a meeting. Nothing is wrong. Nobody is angry. Nobody is in danger. And yet, somewhere beneath the surface, your heart has picked up speed, your jaw is slightly tight, and the back of your neck feels like something is watching it. Nothing is hunting you. But your brain has not gotten that message, and the reason why reaches back further than language, further than fire, further than anything you would recognize as human. Your brain is running software that is 200 million years old, and it was never designed for the world you live in. Here is the thing most people get wrong about fear. They think it is a response to danger. They think the threat comes first, and the fear follows. But that is not how your nervous system works at all. Fear does not wait for confirmation. Fear does not gather evidence. Fear fires first and asks questions never. Joseph LeDoux, a neuroscientist at New York University, spent decades mapping the fear circuitry of the brain. What he found was not a rational alarm system. What he found was a machine built entirely around one principle: better wrong than dead. Your amygdala, a small almond-shaped cluster deep inside your brain, does not process information carefully. It detects patterns, shapes, sounds, shadows, anything that even loosely resembles a threat from the ancestral past, and it fires, immediately. Before your conscious mind has a single thought. You have felt this: a dark shape in your peripheral vision, a rustle behind you, a sudden sound in a quiet room. Your body reacted before you understood what you were reacting to. That gap between the body's response and the mind's understanding is not a glitch. It is the whole point. The world your brain was built for was merciless in a very specific way. Imagine your ancestor, roughly 200,000 years ago, walking through open grassland in what is now East Africa. They are not thinking about the future. They are watching the ground, the sky, the tall grass on either side. Every shadow matters. Every sound matters. A rustle in the grass could be wind. It could also be a leopard. And the ancestor who paused to figure out which one had a much lower chance of passing on their genes than the ancestor who ran first and looked back later. This is what evolutionary biologists call the smoke detector principle. The cost of a false alarm is embarrassment. The cost of a missed alarm is death. So natural selection, across millions of years, tuned your threat detection system to be extraordinarily sensitive, extraordinarily fast, and extraordinarily bad at distinguishing between a predator and a shadow. Randolph Nesse, a psychiatrist and evolutionary medicine pioneer at Arizona State University, has written extensively about this asymmetry. He argues that anxiety is not a disorder. It is the expected output of a system that evolved in a world where threats were frequent, fast, and lethal. The problem, Nesse points out, is not that your brain overreacts. The problem is that the environment changed and your brain did not. You're walking around with the nervous system of a prey animal inside the body of someone who has never once been chased by a predator in their life. And your brain is working very hard to protect you from something that is no longer there. Think about the specific fears that most people share: heights, spiders, snakes, darkness, open spaces, enclosed spaces, strangers, loud noises. These are not random. These are not culturally constructed. These are ancient. Researchers have found that children who have never seen a snake will still recoil from images of them faster than they recoil from images of flowers or electrical outlets, which are genuinely dangerous in the modern world. The brain was never updated to fear the things that actually kill people today. You are more likely to die from heart disease than a spider. But the sight of a spider still triggers a cascade of physiological responses, a flood of cortisol and adrenaline, a spike in heart rate, a narrowing of attention that can take 40 minutes to fully subside. Meanwhile, your daily consumption of processed food registers as nothing. No alarm, no cascade, no signal at all. This is what neuroscientist Lisa Feldman Barrett at Northeastern University calls the predictive brain. Your brain is not passively receiving signals from the world and responding to them. It is constantly generating predictions, running simulations of what is about to happen based on what has happened before. And the history it is drawing from is not your personal history. It is the evolutionary history of every ancestor who survived long enough to reproduce. Your brain is predicting threats from a world that no longer exists. This becomes clearest when you look at what triggers the stress response in modern life. A difficult email, a social conflict, a deadline, a notification. None of these things can physically harm you, but your body responds to them the same way it would respond to a predator. Cortisol rises, blood sugar elevates, digestion slows, immune function dips. Your body is mobilizing energy for a physical fight or a physical run that is never going to happen, and then it sits in that state for hours, sometimes for days. The ancestral stress response was designed to be acute and short. A threat appears. The body activates. You fight or flee. The threat ends. The body recovers. The whole cycle was meant to take minutes. What it was never designed to handle was chronic stress. The low-level, persistent, never quite resolved pressure of modern life. There was no evolutionary pressure to solve that problem because that problem did not exist in the ancestral environment, and so your body does not know how to turn it off. There is a particular phenomenon that illustrates this with disturbing clarity. It is called the negativity bias, and you feel it every single day without realizing it. Your brain processes negative information, threats, losses, criticism, conflict, roughly 3 to 5 times more powerfully than positive information of equal intensity. A single harsh word cuts deeper than 5 compliments lift. One bad day at work contaminates an otherwise good week. One worst-case scenario in your head drowns out a dozen realistic reassurances. This is not weakness. This is calibration. The ancestors who were equally affected by good news and bad news were the ones who relaxed too early, who stopped scanning the grass, who did not feel that persistent low hum of worry that kept them alert. The pessimists survived. The optimists, more often, did not. You are the descendant of thousands of generations of anxious, hyper-vigilant, worst-case scenario thinkers, and their anxiety is alive in you right now. Rick Hanson, a neuropsychologist who has written extensively on this, puts it simply: your brain is like Velcro for negative experiences and Teflon for positive ones. You're not making a choice to focus on the negative. Your brain was literally built to do this. Every threat got encoded deeply. Every safe moment was noted and immediately forgotten, because a forgotten safe moment has no survival cost, but a forgotten threat could be your last. And here is the part that changes how you see your own mind. That tight feeling in your chest during a hard conversation. The way your thoughts spiral at 3 in the morning. The inability to relax even when everything is objectively fine. The hyper-awareness in a new social environment. The flinch when someone raises their voice. None of these are signs that something is broken in you. These are signs that your ancient threat detection system is working exactly as designed. You're not anxious because you are weak. You're anxious because you're human. Because your brain is still scanning the grass for leopards in a world where the grass is an inbox, the leopard is a performance review, and the predator never actually arrives. The deepest irony of your nervous system is this: the very sensitivity that kept your ancestors alive is now the source of so much of your suffering. The same wiring that saved them is generating panic attacks, insomnia, and burnout in you. Because the system was never built for a world where the threats are social and symbolic and endless and never resolved. It was built for a world where threats were brief, physical, and either survived or not. You survived. Your ancestors survived. That is why you are here. But the hunting never really stopped. The predators just changed shape. And your brain, still running its 200-million-year-old software, is doing exactly what it was always meant to do. It is watching the grass. It is scanning the dark. It is waiting. Tonight, when you lie awake with a thought you cannot shake, your brain will be doing what it has always done, keeping you alive for a world that no longer exists. And maybe, just maybe, knowing that will make the dark feel just a little bit less dangerous.